There have been many funny moments in my life. I love to have fun and have fun. My friends and I used to get together quite often and had a lot of fun. There were always new funny jokes and curiosities. I liked this life. My job was by calling. I loved to travel and worked in a travel agency. I knew how to talk to people, and this gave its pluses. I sold a considerable number of vouchers and often visited various parts of our world myself. But despite all the richness of pleasant moments in my life, I did not have enough relationships. It's not that I've been unlucky in relationships at all. I just never met a girl with whom I could imagine my future. I have met a few such girls in my entire life, but there were many very pleasant moments. At a time when I was single, such happy moments flashed through my head quite often, prompting me to search for the one with whom I would like to spend the rest of my life. But I have never been able to meet such a girl. Once I had a vacation that I decided to spend at home, I got a little tired of traveling to other countries, and I decided to spend time with family and friends. In the evening, we agreed with friends to meet in our favorite bar. Everyone was familiar there. Loud music was playing. The atmosphere was cheerful and invigorating. We sat down at our favorite place and began to vigorously discuss what had happened to each other during the days we had not seen each other. I also had a couple of funny stories that I was looking forward to sharing. That evening, a group of girls sat at the next table who also laughed loudly, apparently celebrating something. Some of my friends were single and started to wink at the girls. Soon we decided to sit down together at a large table and began to get to know each other. When it was my turn to tell my funny story and my friends also advertised me as a very funny guy, I was dumbfounded and I could hardly connect two words. The thing was that a very pretty girl named Alice was sitting opposite me. She literally blew me away with her charming eyes. Those big green eyes seemed to bewitch me. After my incoherent story, my friends laughed, but not from the story, but from me. With cheerful faces, they joked that I was not in a good mood today. They said, probably, he fell in love with one of the girls. This confused me a lot because I really felt great sympathy for Alice. We continued the evening in the same bar. When friends began to go out for a smoke break, Alice sat down with me and we began to get to know her better. She, too, clearly showed interest in me, and I really liked it. Our conversation was very pleasant and relaxed. My timid bewilderment dissolved in warm communication, and we continued our conversation for a long time. After that evening, we began to see each other more and more often. Our meetings drew us closer to each other, and soon we began to meet. Everything went very well, to my great surprise. I could easily imagine our family life. I really wanted to. A few months later, Alice moved in with me. Thanks to my work, we started traveling together. At first it was a lot of fun, but soon things started to change. It all started after one incident. Alice and I were planning our trip to a new hotel by the sea, but my plans changed dramatically. For this time, I had a lot of work in the office and I could not go anywhere. Alice was very upset. She really wanted to go. I decided to send Alice on a journey alone. She immediately willingly agreed to go without unnecessary preludes. Her reaction somewhat embarrassed me. I still hoped that Alice would postpone the trip and go with me next time. But she didn't even say a word about it. I reassured myself because I myself offered her this trip. Alice returned from vacation 2 weeks later. During this time, she has changed a lot. I started complaining about how little I was earning. She wanted a more luxurious life, dressing in expensive stores, wearing expensive jewelry. But I did not sit idly by. In addition to the main work, I negotiated with a very influential investor. This man had many hotels and wanted to open a branch of a travel agency in our country. I once did business with new hotels in his presence. He really liked my work and he offered me a very interesting cooperation. I was preparing to head this branch, which would bring me a lot of money. These months I have been very busy with work. And Alice liked to go on vacation alone for my money. And she loved to go to the same hotel where she went the first time without me. Somehow, by chance, I noticed that Alice was calling an unfamiliar number. I managed to make out the first digits. It was the country code where Alice's favorite hotel was. This made me very worried. I started asking Alice who called her, but she said it was nothing special. Just the service of this hotel was very polite and worried when she can visit this hotel again. I didn't believe a single word she said. All this looked very strange and made me think. Soon I invited Alice to go to this hotel together in order to personally understand what was happening there. But Alice refused. She said that she didn't want to go anywhere now. It was very strange. After all, she always loved such trips. When I had a plan, I had to find out at any cost what was happening, because I had already stopped even sleeping normally. Soon I told Alice that I had a lot of work to do, and so that she would not be bored, I again suggested that she go on vacation. Sad Alice was replaced. She happily agreed, and of course was going to go to the same hotel. At this time I bought her plane tickets, and I myself bought tickets in advance for and also booked a room in the same hotel. About a couple of days after Alice left, I flew in and checked into the same hotel. I tried to leave the room as discreetly as possible so as not to attract attention and began to look for Alice. Soon I saw her in the hotel lobby with some guy. I took a closer look and recognized the manager of this hotel. I already met with him. We had to inspect one hotel in which he worked earlier. Now, apparently he worked here in a new hotel. I didn't like this guy right away. His speech was cloyingly sweet, and he didn't take his eyes off my Alice when she was with me. I decided to follow this couple. They went to the suite. I knew that he had no right to stay in such rooms. They were rooms for very influential guests. It was not allowed here that the staff, even if it was the manager of the hotel, could live in such rooms. I had a crazy idea to spy on them right in the room. Fortunately for me, the door of the room was not locked, and I cautiously opened it. There was no one in the front door, and I calmly went inside. This hotel room was very large, and I could hide here very easily. I heard this pompous peacock come out of the shower and rush into the bedroom. When the door to the bedroom opened, I saw a half-dressed Alice with her legs apart, who beckoned this scoundrel with her finger. This picture just blew me away. I didn't understand what was going on, what I was doing here. Rage began to overcome me. I was already ready to smash this hotel room to shreds, smash every element of the interior against its muzzle. But an unknown force suddenly made me stop. A revenge plan immediately began to appear in my head, which would obviously be more tangible for them than a simple scuffle, in which I could also get sad consequences. I opened the door a little and started filming this scene on my phone. I was sick of what I saw, but it had to be done. I soon left this unfortunate hotel. I was in a fever. My thoughts were confused. The picture did not fit in my head that the one with whom I decided to live my whole life could betray me so vilely, and I believed this deceitful creature to the last. Upon arrival in my city, I contacted my investor friend and asked him to help me. The investor was very happy to help me, because this hotel belonged to his competitors, whom he wanted to make a big deal out of trouble in the past. The compromising evidence I wrote down was supposed to fall into the right hands, after which a huge scandal began. The video with this betrayal was seen by a considerable number of people. It was a high-profile scandal. The manager was thrown out of the hotel without the right to hold this position or any other related to the hotel business. This video also got to many of Alice's friends and relatives. I let her explain who it was because everyone in her family knew that she was with me at that time. But before that, I prepared another surprise for Alice. I told her again that I was very busy with work, but I had a ticket to a new exotic place. Only stars rest there. Vile Alice, without hesitation, agreed. It was a one-way ticket. Instead of a luxury hotel, a squalid slum was waiting for her on the outskirts of a city in another country. She went to rest with my card and never bothered with cash. She always paid with a card. I blocked the map so she will have to get out of these slums somehow by herself. I imagined her face when she arrived at the place and found out the rest of the surprises. I also sent the video to her phone. I didn't want, like in romantic movies, to look into her eyes for the last time. After such a betrayal, there was nothing to see there. Therefore, I enjoyed a successful revenge and continued to develop in my work. There was peace in my life again. But now there were many more opportunities that significantly helped me get through this mean moment in my life.